What's up? So we've been bogged down with Vikings hashtag takes all day that we didn't really have a chance to weigh in on the most shocking move of the day and quite possibly the worst trade in NFL history. Like, this has the potential to be up there with the Herschel Walker trade, even though as a Vikings fan, it hurts. Fully understand that. And so we're talking about Houston Texans trading a superstar numero uno wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals for David Johnson. Okay, sure. Yeah. Bill O'Brien, de facto GM there in Houston, just really doing great things there. But there was picks. There was picks involved. So the Texans also send a fourth rounder in exchange for Arizona's second and fourth. Obviously, they're a lot higher. Whatever. Also, the Texans agreed to take on all of David Johnson's 2020 salary, which is $10 million plus, and a cap hit of around $11 million. So, all in all, I have no idea what is going on with this trade. I honestly have no idea how Bill O'Brien has been allowed to stay in a position of authority, in a position of being an executive of this team. How? This is just absolutely mind-blowing because DeAndre Hopkins, yeah, he may have had a down season last year. 27 years old, still had 3 years left on his deal. It was a very team-friendly deal, by the way. But DeAndre Hopkins is still going to be a top 5 receiver in this league for the foreseeable future, 4 or 5 years at least. And also, now he's going to Arizona. I mean, the model for the type of receiver that DeAndre Hopkins has been up to this point in his career is working in the slot now. Look at Larry Fitzgerald. So conceivably, if he stays healthy, DeAndre Hopkins is going to have another decade of very productive play here in the NFL, and with a bulk of that, at least half of that, being a top-tier, top-of-the-food chain wide receiver. David Johnson hasn't had a good season since 2016, and I really like David Johnson. Frankly, I would have loved to have taken him the year he came out of Northern Iowa as a Vikings fan, but the fact that he's become a poster child of why you don't give running backs monster contracts because he's worked through injuries for the past couple years and just simply is not living up to that deal. The fact that Kenyon Drake is deemed to be a much better option than you, and the fact that you are benched as a healthy scratch in favor of Kenyon friggin' Drake and Chase friggin' Edmonds, it's no bueno. That's no bueno. So this is a completely boneheaded, head-scratching move by Houston, and something that I honestly can't believe that Houston ownership is allowing to happen. Because Bill O'Brien has had a long track record, whether he's official GM or de facto GM. I mean, they traded multiple first-round picks and some change to Miami last year for Laramie Tunsil, and then this year they were rumored to be in the Trent Williams sweepstakes. So, you're going to give up on Laramie Tunsil, a top 5 tackle that you gave up multiple first-round picks after a year? Is that what you're going to do? Is that what's happening? Sure, whatever. And then they just massively overdrafted Titus Howard out of Alabama State last year, as well as Max Sharping out of Northern Illinois. Those haven't quite worked out so far. And also, they traded for Carlos Hyde, if you remember that. They traded for Duke Johnson, who's also on this year's salary cap for $4.1 million as well. And, I mean, they're lucky that they absolutely luck-boxed Deshaun Watson. I mean, they're so fortunate that they actually do have some hope. They do have a piece of young quarterback play in place, because I don't know what the hell, Texans fans are going to be excited about now. I mean, you traded away the best wide receiver in the NFL in his prime for a running back who hasn't been healthy in 3 years, has a big salary cap number, and a couple of draft picks. Ooh, la-di-da. I don't know what the hell is going on. Honestly, if I'm Deshaun Watson, who the hell are you going to throw to now? Kenny Stills, he's your wide receiver 1 right now, even though he's best served as like a wide receiver 4. And Will Fuller, the 5 games that he's healthy per year, great, cool. And yeah, you got a couple second round picks, which is great, but you're going to be out of range of the top tier wide receivers. You ain't getting CeeDee Lamb, you ain't getting Jerry Jeudy, you ain't getting any of that. So now, what do you do? Texans, cool. You got a second and fourth rounder back in addition to David Johnson. Are you really going to take a receiver that's on the caliber of Nuke Hopkins? I honestly am just still absolutely flabbergasted. Absolutely flabbergasted because, like we said, Nuke Hopkins could be a dominant top-tier wide receiver for the next decade or so, or at least 8 years. We'll say 7-8 years, just being conservative here. Would it shock anyone if David Johnson's out of the league in 2 years? No, absolutely not. That's not a knock on him per se. That's a knock on the running back position. It is a position of attrition, and yet for some reason Houston just seems enamored by all these running backs. Look at Carlos Hyde. Look at Deuce Johnson. Look at the other Miami running back who came over there. Name slips my mind. Extremely frustrating in fantasy football every year. It doesn't really matter. Now add David Johnson to the stable. I mean, what era is Bill O'Brien in? I mean, he's supposedly this forward-thinking, innovative offensive guru, but he wants to play football like he's running the Delaware Wing T in 1942 Army-Navy. Actually, no. That'd be earlier than that because of the war. Whatever. And also, remember, Bill O'Brien is the coach who signed off on signing Brock Osweiler to that massive deal. And then he was also the guy who traded away Brock Osweiler to the Browns and actually gave the Browns a draft pick to take on that salary. So it is absolutely disgusting. Like, if I'm a Texans fan, I would just be vomiting all over my cowboy boots right now because this is just a complete dereliction of duty. This is just an absolute abomination of a decision. I don't know. I'm still. Well, other side, this is a great deal for the Cardinals, by the way, because they've given up on David Johnson. You're thinking that they're gonna have to eat, $10 million of that cap space, just sitting dead on their cap in 2020. Not anymore. So now Kyler Murray, he's got Larry Fitzgerald, he's got Christian Kirk, and he's got Nuke Hopkins. That's a hell of a trio. That baby ass do going. And they're still drafting 8 overall. Probably get some decent offensive line help. Easily get one of the top 5 tackles in the draft. So if I'm a Cardinals fan, Christmas in March, I mean, we'll take it. If I'm a Texans fan, the hell is going on? But what are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. I think this could be the most lopsided, one-sided, worst trade in NFL history. I think it really could be up there with Herschel Walker. But you know what to do. Skull, production value.